Welcome to the Pulse Podcast, where we discuss the latest trends in workplace, technology, and healthcare equipment, from artificial intelligence to business transformation. I'm Derek Porter, Head of Specialty Finance at DLL. Today, I'm excited to be interviewing the newest addition to our public finance team, Nick Ferrari. Nick has held various roles in our organization over many years, and I'm really excited by the value he's going to bring to my team, our customers, and this conversation today. Nick, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Derek. Happy to be here.
So, Nick, I recently read an article published by the Healthcare Financial Management Association. In the article, affordability was identified as healthcare's biggest challenge. While this holds true, public healthcare organizations are still expected to invest in AI, digital health solutions, advanced diagnostics, and new models of care. For healthcare OEMs, this is posing an important question. How do customers move forward with innovation when budgets are under pressure? I want to spend our time today discussing how financing can help these public healthcare organizations access the technology they need sooner while helping OEMs support customer adoption and growth.
Absolutely, Derek. It's a conversation we're having with both customers and OEMs daily.
So, Nick, what financial challenges are making technology purchases more difficult for public hospitals, university health systems, and other public healthcare organizations?
You know what? It's truly a combination of factors. It's not ever one singular thing. Technologies, as we know, are becoming more and more capable every single day, but every single day they're becoming more and more expensive. At the same time, healthcare organizations are being asked to improve patient outcomes, modernize their operations, and adapt new technologies while their budgets aren't growing at the same pace as the cost of their technology. For public organizations especially, a project can take a long time to get approved. So when everyone agrees on a piece of equipment that is needed, affordability and budget often become the biggest obstacles because of how much time it's taken and how much that equipment has increased in cost as well.
That makes sense. And what's different about the capital and financial status for public hospitals compared to private sector ones?
Great question. They generally operate on annual budget cycles, and they have a very formal and rigorous procurement process. So purchasing decisions often involve more planning and more stakeholders. They're also responsible for being good stewards because they are publicly funded entities. That means taxpayer dollars. So they have to be good stewards of those funds and make sure there's a greater focus on predictable costs and long-term financial planning. The good news is public organizations often have financing options available, like tax-exempt structures that can make large technology investments more manageable when they're used appropriately.
That makes sense. And so from your perspective, in what ways does financing help these OEMs accelerate adoption for healthcare organizations that need to get these new technologies?
Yeah, it's removing those financial barriers up front, removing the objection of we just don't have the budget in this year's funds. Instead of waiting, they're able to get all the technologies, standardize the equipment across their fleet right now without having to allocate all those funds up front. And it allows them to spread it out and be able to do more projects at once versus piecemealing over several years at a time. For OEMs, it also helps keep projects moving forward instead of watching them get delayed because of funding is not available all at once.
That makes sense. So a lot of public healthcare organizations are expecting to use the equipment for years beyond the financing term. We've seen that, and I don't think that trend's going to go anywhere. With that in mind, are there any specific financing solutions that make sense in those situations that can help either the OEMs or the customers?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different models, but in this case, ownership models that for entities that want to own and hold on to that equipment for a long period of times make the most sense. Customers get predictable payments. They're building towards ownership, and they're able to maximize the useful life of the equipment after the financing ends. Those types of structures are very common in public healthcare and university environments, particularly where tax-exempt financing is available.
Got it. Last one for you, Nick, and this is probably the toughest question I've asked you so far. You get to give one piece of advice to healthcare OEMs when they're trying to sell into public healthcare customers. What would it be?
I encourage them to talk about affordability as early as they're talking about technology. In these entities, they go hand in hand. The technology obviously is going to drive a ton of what they do, but they are uber focused on how they are going to pay for this. As we mentioned, right, they have to be good stewards with their funds. Their budgets aren't growing as quickly as other entities as well. So having those conversations as early as you're having around technology will help your customers get everything they need without having to sacrifice patient care.
It's pretty clear that these organizations aren't lacking visions for the future. They understand the importance of AI, the transformation they need to undergo digitally, and the importance of modern clinical technologies. It's clear, though, that the challenge is finding ways to invest while balancing their financial realities. For healthcare OEMs serving public hospitals, universities, and healthcare systems, financing does play a critical role in closing the gap between innovation and affordability. Nick, really appreciate your expertise. Thank you for joining me today.
Derek, it was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for tuning into this episode of the Pulse Podcast. For more information about DLL's public finance offerings, please visit our website and follow us on LinkedIn.
This podcast is brought to you by DLL Group. All rights reserved. This podcast is for general information purposes only and should not be used as a substitute for professional advice. The opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the participants. Nothing herein should be construed as legal, tax, financial, accounting, or investment advice. Please visit www.dllgroup.com/aboutus for further details.